guys. Sean Strickland just won the UFC world title and gets called out by Dana White about his behavior post-title fight. We're going to get into all of that. Plus, we're going to get into Sean Strickland's biggest problem right now that he is going to have as the UFC world champion. And I'm going to give you guys some insight as to some of the things that Dana White is unclear about Sean's behavior, because I train at Extreme Couture. Sean and I have gotten into it before. I feel like I have a unique perspective on some things that people don't understand about Sean, having dealt with him in a positive, super positive manner, and also at times in a negative manner, right? So I've been on both sides of it, guys. So I understand what's happening, or what appears to be happening, when Sean and Hamzat are going back and forth and then seem cool after, and the whole thing. Yeah. So anyways, guys, I'm a pro MMA champion, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. My name is King David MMA, and I coach at Extreme Couture. So we are super happy right now. The entire gym is stoked. Let me drop this in the chat real quick, because if you guys are real ones, then maybe get a real one shirt, right? And also make sure you tell your, I don't know how to fucking hyperlink that, but whatever, right? Anyways, get a real one shirt. Also, follow Fight Circus. I told you guys, Fight Circus has the freak show fights, the craziest shit you've ever seen in your life. And tell your coach, go to studiomillions.com. Studio Millions, man, we will get them some fucking students and they will thank you guys. So if you want your coach to be happy and love you, do that. All right, let me read the chat. The chat's already popping. Let's go. We got John Hogan in the chat. Love the notification, says videos coming up next. Oh yeah, man, we're getting it together over here. We're getting it together. All right. Felicia Bell says, let's go. Okay, get your shirts, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Thank you for posting that. Appreciate you. Let me try and send a hyperlinked version. I do not know how to send them a hyperlinked version. Oh my gosh. It's all good. Anyways, John Hogan, what's up, everyone? Felicia Bell, how's Ruffin? Okay, yeah, Asa. Hey, Ruffin was in good spirits the last time I saw him. He got his shoulder dislocated. I was cornered out in Oregon. Asa is on the amateur team. He got his nose broken, and Asa won the fight. So shout out to Asa, man. Way to come through adversity. Goated live stream. Appreciate you. So let's hop right into this shit. And if you're a real one, you're already subscribed. So I don't need to say subscribe and tap notifications, because the real ones already got that going on. And if you're a weenie, a wussy, a weirdo, a fucking weeb, we don't want you on the channel anyway, man. We only want real ones, right? All right, let me take some caffeine real quick. So Dana called out Sean Strickland after his UFC win, because there was a Zuffa boxing press conference that happened, and people were asking about the UFC fights. Dana owns Zuffa Boxing. Dana is the president of the UFC. So it's a crossover, and people ask questions. One of them was like, oh, do you think Sean Strickland's turned over a new leaf? Do you think we're going to see a new side of Sean? Dana said no. He said absolutely not. He doesn't think that is what Sean is actually going to be like moving forward. He's not going to be Mr. Nice Guy. He's not going to be Mr. like, in one of the post-fight speeches, one of the post-fight interviews, Sean got into like the most important superpower is gratitude. And as you can see, guys, I'm in a good vibe. So I like that, right? And I thought that was really cool of Sean to say, Dana doesn't think it's going to last. And what Dana may not be understanding, because he doesn't interact with Sean on a regular basis, I'm sure, is that there's like two Seans that I've observed. This is my personal observation, being at Extreme Couture, dealing with Sean. And there is pre-violence Sean, and there's post-violence Sean. And pre-violence Sean, that dude's ornery, man. He's calling people out, talking shit, saying all this. Like, I'm talking teammates. If you walk by him in the gym, he might say something wild to you, right? He'll call people out on Twitter, as I'm sure you guys have seen. He'll go spar and then afterwards be like, oh, I feel better, guys, man. I didn't mean anything I said before I spar. And I've been involved in that personally. So I've seen it firsthand where he says something to me, then later after practice says something like way nicer, right? Like, so yeah, I tend to ask for any martial arts feedback after practice with that dude because I feel like you get a more like chill version, like a helpful Sean, right? So I think that's kind of what we're seeing here is that the pre-fight Sean is like, fuck this guy to the death, blah, 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 blah. After the fight, he's like, oh, he's a good guy, man. He's a good guy, right? All my intense energy, I won now. It's all good, man. It's all good. So he's living on that happy cloud, which is awesome. And I feel like before intense sparring, a lot of people, you got to get your mind into a certain place. So I was living in a fighter house with Johnny Parsons. I've lived with a lot of people, right? But Johnny Parsons got knocked out on the night in the UFC, right? And so I would see how Johnny would get ready for sparring. And then I have also had other roommates that fight and I see how they get ready. And Johnny and I would do like karate in the kitchen, We'd be going over techniques, we'd be having fun. We'd like make plans because we'd be like, you know what, man? The mat's too full. We gotta clean the mats. Let's get the people out of here who don't deserve to be here. Let's see who wants to fight. So me and Johnny would go clean up the mats. That's what we would call it. Like, hey man, if these guys aren't on the level to be here, they're not going to be here after today. We're gonna make sure of that. And I'm not saying hit them in the head hard. I'm just saying like maybe you stop them to the body a couple times, mush their face in the mat, drag them, and then like after I do that, then I'm like, get up, go spar Johnny, and they're like, I'm cool on that, bro, and they just bounce right. And then we have more mat space. Okay. So that's how Johnny and I would prepare. And then I've lived with other fighters who are very nervous about sparring. They're very nervous. And Sean is not in this category. Sean is in the third category. But there's the dude sparring's today. Okay. And when you're training at a gym like Extreme Couture where the sparring can get extremely intense, there's several people who have nerves before sparring like a fight. Now, I feel like Sean is a guy like he's like a level up or he's like a gamer. He's like a step into his identity type dude where he's like, I believe I could be this guy. I want to be this guy. I've got to go through and be that guy. Right. And so he takes intensity to push him through into the future. And in a sparring sense, it's like, who are you going to spar that's the hardest person to spar that's going to like push you out of your comfort zone, who's going to give you the most realistic look, who's going to get you into that fight or flight part of a fight, right? And give you the realistic adrenaline, and going into that, you can have a very laser focused and a very intense feeling towards everything. Like everything, if you're a predator, everything's prey. So you're walking and somebody says hi to you and you're like, hi, what the fuck you mean hi, right? And so I've experienced this with Patchy Mix as well. Patchy Mix was at the time like a 3-time Bellator world champion and had won a couple $1 million in Bellator. And it was his birthday. And Patchy and I are super cool. I love training with Patchy. Patchy's awesome. I still believe Patchy's the best fighter in the world. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I feel like there was some stuff going on behind the scenes in those couple UFC fights or whatever. But to me, Patchy's the best. Out of everybody I've ever trained with, everybody I've ever grappled, all that, Patchy Mix is the best. So anyways, and it's crazy because, if you don't train with the dude and you just watch the 2 fights in the UFC, people have come up to me like, dude, why does every single person say Patchy's the best? It's because that's our experience with him every day is training with that dude. That dude is the best. So I walk up to Patchy on his birthday. I'm like, oh shit, it's my boy's birthday. I'm like, happy birthday, Patchy. He goes, man, fuck my birthday. Calls me the N-word and says, I'm trying to get better. And just like walks away. And I'm like, oh, okay. I got pre-sparring Patchy. You know what I'm saying? So it's very common that there's like 2 different personalities among fighters, like pre-combat and post-combat, pre-violence and post-violence, pre-sparring and post-fight, sparring, pre-fight and post-fight. And, to a certain extent, if you're one of the people that gets intense, I'm in the intense category backstage, and you know, I'm mad at everybody. And then after the fight, I'm like, oh, dude, I love everybody, right? So maybe Sean's got a little bit of that, right? And I believe that Sean has even talked about that on his Twitter before, where we were just discussing about how like he'll call somebody out and call them all kinds of names, and afterwards, after he spars, he's like, I didn't mean any of it. So, anyways, I think that's what uh, Dana may not understand, or Dana may be reading into, or Dana may like Sean. That people are the reporters are asking, has Sean changed? Right? And to me, there's a change between pre-fight Sean and post-fight Sean, but overall Sean has not necessarily quote unquote changed. I believe from when I first met Sean to now, like he's way more chill dude. But in terms of like, is this a new leaf? I don't think it's a new leaf. I think that Sean as a human is evolving in a positive direction, which is dope. And he gave. I wish I don't even want to talk about it right now because I don't want this channel to turn into like Technique Tuesday. But he told me some dope shit about teeping people and like mixing hands with teeps, and I was like, dude, okay, okay, now what he's doing in there is making more sense. And as someone who likes to teep, I throw a really nice like a rear snap kick a lot, like a toe stabbing snap kick, right? Talking to him about that was really helpful for me. So I believe that one can evolve over time, and then one can also have like a pre and a post fight personality, if that makes any sense, or anything, right? Like let's say you got a girlfriend and she's a Chinese genius, as I do, right? Like my girlfriend, she's literally like off the charts smart, like 10 million IQ, like the smartest person I've ever met in my life. It's kind of like wild and humbling at the same time. And like, I'm talking about taught herself English uh in her free time after 16 hours of school a day, 7 days a week in China, as like a teenager, and then like scored nearly perfect on the SATs, which is not her first language, and got a 4.0 at Berkeley. And she's an international world beauty pageant winner. Like, so she's but there's also pre-test and post-test girlfriend, right? Like, so if she's got a test or something, as she gets more and more degrees, there's like focused, and then there's like chill, right? And I think we all have that, right? We all have that. But Sean's on a world stage, so Sean is being scrutinized, nitpicks. I'm making a fucking video about the guy, right? Like, so everybody has some form of this behavior, right? If you've got a job interview, you might be a little stressed out, and then you go to the job interview and you get the job, and now you're happy. It's like two different emotions. Did Danielle change now that she's got the job? She had two different emotional states, right? So anyways, before we get into all the crazy hippie bullshit about emotional states and everything, let's talk about Sean Strickland's, because the show's about Sean today. He won the UFC world titles. He's inspired the gym. Can't wait to go back to the gym on Monday. The gym is going to be fucking lit, guys. Extreme Couture is going to be popping off. There's going to be a ton of signups. There's going to be a ton of people coming back. Attendance is going to be up. The vibe is going to be up. Everybody's going to be happy. Everybody's going to be celebrating. And our coaches are going to tell us, stay the fuck focused. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you're expected to do here. You're expected to win here. And we get held to a very high standard at Extreme Couture. I've been on the mat, literally, where there's not much mat space. There's a lot of people. And they just, yo, hey, shut the fuck up. Hey, if you're not here to be a world champion, get the fuck off the mat. We don't need you. Like, you're expected to win at Extreme. We don't want any of that. I coulda, woulda, shoulda shit. It's bring belts home or leave, right? And so I'm excited. I get into all that. I'm excited to hear like the congratulatory speeches. I'm excited to hear the let's stay focused speeches. I'm excited to like there's a reestablished standard of performance at the gym. And now we all got to live up to that. We're all aspiring to that, right? 2026, we're all ascending. Let's go. And Sean, his biggest problem right now isn't his talent, isn't his skill set, isn't his shit talk, isn't any of that. He's the biggest star in the UFC right now. straight up, he's the next Conor. He's got a big problem. Who the fuck is he gonna fight next, guys? Okay, so Arpon the Don says Sean the GOAT. Let's go. Yeah, dude. That guy's fucking inspirational. So I put the whole list of the middleweight division. Hamzat's talking about moving up to light heavyweight. Khalil Roundtree is a light heavyweight in the UFC. He fought Alex Pereira for several rounds. Some people say he did well. I watched the fight a couple times. I didn't think he did as well as everybody said, but optics are optics, right? Anyway, Khalil says if Hamzat moves up, everybody's fucked. So that lets you know how Hamzat did with Khalil. Now, that's at 205. So let's say Hamzat does leave 185 and goes to 205. Who's left? Dricus? They're going to do a trilogy? If the UFC really is mad at Sean, well, maybe they'll give him the trilogy with Dricus, right? But like, do they want Dricus to be the champ again? Are we doing the round robin thing with the belt? Or who else? And I believe Sean won the first fight with Dricus. And in the second fight, he had a broken arm. It was a scapula injury. And didn't disclose that to our head coach, Eric. And went and fought anyway. And did well with one arm. Right? So I believe Sean could beat Dricus if they rematch. I believe he would beat Dricus if they rematched again. Like if Sean's healthy. But aside from that fight, right, which, let's be real, we don't need to see those guys fight 10 times. I don't think people are too thrilled to see that, although the can Sean defend his belt narrative might be a little bit of a narrative. So who else we got? We got Nasruddin Imavov. Guys, does anybody care about Nasruddin Imavov? I'll wait. We got John Dong in the building. No, I'm still waiting if anybody cares about Nasruddin Imavov. Sean's already beat that guy. So we're doing another rematch? Okay, let's go down the list. Now, this fight might be a fun fight. This one might be fun because Sean has already talked shit. Sean called this guy a bag of British sticks or British cigarettes. It starts with the F. It ends in a G. Sometimes it ends in a GGOT, right? He called him the F word. Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen has had some negative words to say about Sean. Sean's called him, to a lot of people, the worst word imaginable as a man. You know what I mean? A man, right? He called him the F word. So that fight might be fun. And that fight, Sean would beat the brakes off that guy. That's neither here nor there. That's not like the most competitive fight. I don't believe, based on what I've seen out of both of them. But Brendan would come to fight and Sean would get him, and it would probably be a tougher fight than because any fight is still a tough fight. Even if you win and you dominate, it's still a tough fight. Like, the dude's resisting, right? He's throwing punches back. If you check his kick, he's still kicking your shin. It's still not like pleasant. You know what I'm saying? So that fight will probably get like more respect out of Brendan Allen from Sean than them not fighting or whatever. But yeah, I think Sean beats the brakes off that guy. But the lead up to the fight will be fun. So that's the fight whose lead up I would most like to see, right? Is that fight. So like, who else? Now we're gonna get out of like the top 5-ish. We're gonna start getting into the Kyle Barrelos, you know what I mean? The Joe Pfeiffers, right? Now we're outside of the top 5. What else could we do? They can't let Bo Nickel fight Sean Strickland. Bo Nickel's like not even ranked, right? Where's he at in the rankings? I got like the top 15. I don't even see Bo Nickel up here, right? Is he in here somewhere? No, I don't see him. So who? What's the name? What's the name? Who's he gonna fight, guys? That's a problem. Okay, now in a fucking super cool imaginary world that we can imagine, they'd give him a one-off to go box Jake Paul or something, right? Like, let the guy get some bread, let him put hands on Jake. Jake says he would beat the brakes off Strickland. Jake said it would be easy work. He said Sean Strickland would be easy work. He said it'd be like a warm-up. He said Sean would be like a warm-up, bro. I'm like, bro, I've seen Sean beat the fuck out of pro boxers in boxing. Like, make them quit. And so when Sean was saying he made Hamzat quit, I was dropping gems on the channel saying, like, hey guys, if you hear a rumor that Hamzat tapped out Sean, just realize we do a lot of positional sparring rounds where guys start on your back with like borderline the choke in, and we're fighting out to get our defense right. We're fighting out to have one person maintain the position and one person get out of the position. So if Sean got choked in that position, that's the position they started in, right? So anyways, people want to disagree with me, people who aren't at the gym or had an opinion. I'm like, so this is the craziest part about doing these lives. Like, my uncle's Hulk Hogan. I watched the first 3 parts of the Hulk Hogan documentary. I will drop a video saying, hey, this part was true, this part was inaccurate. And I will have people arguing with me who do not know my uncle RIP, who do not know anyone involved, who don't know me, who weren't around, who weren't there. I'm like, listen, bro. Let's say I say that some conversation that was mentioned in the Netflix doc didn't go down the way that the Netflix documentary says it went down. And I go, hey, guys, actually what happened with this conversation was X, Y, and Z. Someone will go, no, bro, actually it was ABC, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, dog, you're arguing with me. I read on Reddit. Motherfucker, I was there. I was there. Like, so I got some dude who's living in Nebraska somewhere arguing with me about my uncle, or some dude in freaking, South Carolina trying to tell me what happened with Hamzat and Strickland, while I literally train and coach at Extreme Couture. I'm on the pro team. I'm a pro MMA champion. I know Sean. I'm literally like going like, hey guys, without completely throwing sparring under the bus and saying what happened. Like, I'm like getting as close to that as I can. And people are arguing with me, bro. It's fucking amazing. Let me check the chat real quick. Sean ain't old enough for Jake Paul. Oh, what? Wait till he's in the nursing home, then maybe. Oh, shit. Dang, that's how you feel, Felicia? Would Strickland beat Prime Anderson Silva? Bro, he beat Adesanya when Adesanya was a world beater, bro. What do you mean? Of course, bro. It's a new generation. It's a new generation, bro. Strickland would beat up Prime Anderson Silva, no problem. I mean, like I was saying early, even if it's a no problem fight, even if it's a dominant fight, it's still, there's violence occurring on both sides. A few years ago, I thought Strickland versus Whitaker would be a good fight. Imagine what Strickland would have done to Whitaker. Dude, hey, styles make fights, though, right? Styles make fights. I agree. Strickland would beat up Whitaker. But, like, Whitaker's pretty athletic. He's got a karate kind of style. He's like an in and out kind of guy in a lot of ways. He's got like a different type of striking. And then he also has a explosive form of wrestling. That, so fuck the rankings. I'd like to see that fight personally. I think that fight's a good idea, right? So just from like, if we could have people fight unlimited fights and there was no limitation, would I rather see Imavov versus Strickland, or rather see some, somebody mix it up and we go Robert Whitaker Strickland? I'd rather see Robert Whitaker Strickland. So yeah, that's a great one right there. Yeah, I think Strickland would have beaten Silva. A lot of people tell me Silva would have won. Yeah, those people are nostalgic, right? It's similar to when you're talking to somebody and they're like, music back in my day. Well, these, new kid, these Gen Z don't like, bro, like, I fuck with Gen Z super hard. Like, I think they're awesome. Like, the people I've experienced, I'm into all that. I'm watching collab streams. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, because I'm like, this is what's new. This is what's fresh. This is what's now, right? Like, let's live in the moment. Let's stop trying to recreate the past. The past can be awesome. The past can be awesome in the past, right? Like, we can appreciate Anderson Silva. Like, We don't need him to be more. We don't need him to be like, he could beat everybody for infinity, and that's the only way he's good. Was what he did not enough? Was his career not enough? Were the memories not enough? We need more out of the guy. We need him to be able to beat Prime Strickland. Like, come on, man. Let's appreciate him. Dude, shout out to that guy. That guy was the best of his time at the time. And then people learned from him, and people were able to build styles, build martial arts off of what he showed. And then if someone starts at that place with a better foundation of martial arts knowledge based on the martial arts that he brought to the world, they're starting ahead. So, of course, the next generation is going to have a head start. Of course, they're going to have a further ceiling. Of course, they're going to get further, right? I guess you would say higher ceiling, right? A further wall, not like a higher ceiling. Anyways, let me read you the chat. Okay. Gen Z is very informative. Clav is right about politics being jester. Clav's right about a lot of things. I heard Clav was hanging out with that dude that I punked at the fight. So I don't know what Clav's doing, but he must not know who that guy is, because that guy is a dirty dog. You do not want to be associated with that dude for sure. But yeah, so I think Clav is right. So, all right, guys, right now, we got a little beef tallow. I got whitening toothpaste. I've been draining my lymphatics. You know what I'm saying? We've been looks maxing, guys. I don't know. Been thumb pulling. And now I have a God-given jawline. You know what I mean? But like, why not ascend in 2026? Why not do more? Why not? Right? We're thumb pulling. We're looks maxing. We're teeth whitening. I feel like if you and Clav hang out, you would change his life. Oh, really? That's interesting. Yeah. So I have some different viewpoints from Clav, right? I think Clav is super innovative in a lot of ways. Like what he's doing with the streams and shit is like super cool, because he's taking essentially, there's a lot of people that are like black pilled about dating. And then he's like playing into that, which I disagree with in terms of being black pilled. Like, I don't think it's like, oh, all these women's are on, oh, yeah, right. They all got links. They're all whatever, selling feet pics or whatever they're doing, right? But that's like a generalized statement, right? Like, let's say you're a traditional type of person, one man. You only need one dime piece girlfriend, one wife, one amazing, perfect person for you. So, out of all the billions of people on the world, you need to find one that's great for you. That's not like, those are good odds, right? I'm not focused about all the girls on the spicy site. Why would I focus my attention on them? Why would I go to ASU parties and then wonder why the girls are making out with girls and trying to hook up with this dude, and that girl's leaving her boyfriend and everybody's drunk and they're doing and partying, right? Like, well, yeah, bro, if you go in that environment, that's what it's going to look like. But like, that's your sample selection. So, for instance, there was someone very close to me before, and they were a nurse, and they would have a skewed sample size of reality because everybody that came into the hospital was sick or fucked up or had some problem, right? So over time, they could think that that's what the world is like. But if you pop out to Whole Foods, everybody's healthy, happy, friendly, right? Same thing with like if you're a police officer and you're in the bad part of town, you're going to have a skewed sample size of what people are like, and you're going to be exposed to some realities of how fucked up things can get. But that doesn't mean that that's the average reality. That's not average, right? Those aren't what people are like, right? Those are just the down baddest down bads of down battery. That's what they're like, right? And so that's the biggest contradiction that I have in terms of Clav's thoughts on interpersonal relationships between men and women, is that like there's a entire narrative of like, if you don't own 9 Lambos, you're not gonna get a girlfriend ever because these girls want to get flown to Dubai. And it's like there's a certain segment of girls that do that, I guess, but I would say that's like the minority of women. The minority of women. And just the same way that there's girls that will like be super attracted to like the richest dude possible. There's also a subsegment of girls that will be super attracted to like the most, and it's not all girls, but there is a percentage that are attracted to like the most compassionate. So if you're a compassionate dude, you just need to find your lane, right? So I feel like it's more about lane finding and attracting the people that are right for you rather than going out talking to the wrong ones and then going everybody sucks, right? So anyways, I'm not very doomer on the subject. I'm very like, I guess you would say white pilled on it. I believe that dude, I could talk about this shit all day because I'm very into like psychological. I don't want to say psychology because I believe we're not going to talk about what I believe about psychology, but let's just say I don't believe it's accurate. But when it comes to like interpersonal dynamics between especially men and women, how like men think differently than women, and I don't mean just sexually, I mean like in general, right? Like my male experience is very different than a woman's experience, right? I've never been afraid in a parking lot in my life, ever. I never thought about that until I started thinking about like what women experience on a day-to-day basis. Like imagine a parking lot being scary. That's wild, right? Let me read the chat. Okay, all right. So I'm caught up on the chat, but yeah. So I think that a lot of what he's doing is playing directly into that, and it's exposing people to a lot of different things that could work. I also believe that looks maxing is not the best way to succeed in life. I think that looks maxing should supplement your life, but it is not the. It's not going to get you to exactly where you want in life. I would say that Collab's success came from discipline maxing, consistency maxing, and now status maxing. So the same way that I post every day on live since I started doing lives, that's what I'm saying about consistency maxing. I was talking to one of our teammates at Extreme Couture. Her name's Ashley. And I said, Ashley, I've trained other female fighters. And some female fighters I've trained, especially, there's a wide variety of athletic ability. And I was fortunate to have coached somebody that's like 10 out of 10 athleticism. I'm talking freak athlete. Now, Ashley's quite athletic, but I told her where she excels is consistency because consistency over time will beat all of that. Right. And so the magic power, the superpower that nobody's talking about is consistency. And it's so fucking underrated. Dude, I got a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. You know how? Consistency. Pro MMA title, consistency. I'm literally about to get monetized within, I don't know, a month and a half of being on YouTube. I'm literally talking into an iPhone. I don't even have the setup set up correctly, and I'm already getting monetized just on consistency alone. I don't have pop-ups, I don't have graphics, I don't have editing, I don't have any of that. If you guys saw yesterday, I was doing a travel show. I was in Oregon. I don't even know how to read the chat when it's on my phone, right? But guess why I'm monetizing somebody else who's been thinking about being on YouTube is not? Because they thought about it and I just consistency maxed. So, anyways, let me check the chat. What's up, AZK? What's up, King David? What up? What up? Where you from? I don't know if I've seen this name in the chat before. City, state, country. Let's go. Oh, Kentucky. All right. You like that fried chicken? Hey, so do I. Man. So for like the longest time, when anybody would ask me what my favorite food is, like if you could eat one, and this is probably still true to this day, I believe I could eat spicy fried chicken for every day of my life. Like buffalo wings. I don't know if I would ever get tired of eating buffalo wings. But maybe that's why I'm good at consistency maxing because I'll just make a YouTube video, go live every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. Go to the gym, buffalo wings, buffalo wings, buffalo wings, buffalo wings, buffalo wings. If I like something, I like double, triple, quadruple, 100 times down on it. Maybe that's a unique personality trait. But yeah, so I don't know how chicken wings plays into consistency, but to me, they kind of do, right? Especially like if I go to a restaurant, I'll just order the same fucking thing. And sometimes I'll try and like force myself to order something new. So I'll at times order something in addition to what I already like just to test something new. But I'm like, I already know I like the buffalo chicken wings. And the only acceptable answer when they ask ranch or blue cheese is both. But if you have to pick, you got to go blue cheese. You got to go blue cheese. Let me read this chat. Nah, you hate fried chicken. Bro, you're in the wrong place, dog. You're in the wrong place. This is the fried chicken chat, bro. Fried chicken support group, dog. Fried chicken anonymous. I got a chicken addiction, bro. Pause. Because some people would say chicken and then they get into cock. And I don't want people to get the wrong idea, guys. I'm talking about actual chickens, fried chicken, right? Pause. Anyways, but if Lexington, okay, UK Wildcats basketball, okay. Oh shit, we racing horses. I called a fight camp. Sean would beat Hamza and start world. Yeah, man. Yeah, the real ones know. The real ones know Sean was gonna beat Hamzat. Now, is anything a guarantee in life? I don't fucking know. But the real ones who know what's up, man. Listen, there's an old ass movie. It's called Rocky, and Rocky was the big underdog against the Russian, and the Russian had all the special training techniques, and they had him on the machines with the thing and the like all that, and they were injecting him with stuff and measuring his punching power, and it just reminded me of Hamzat training at like that Jackson Studios, and he's got Sam Calavita, and they're doing he's like a scientist, and like Strickland is literally just bringing in the best people in the world and sparring them every fucking day. It's like just get direct to the point. More motherfucking rounds, bro. We don't need all that. We don't need the mask and the run on the treadmill and all that, bro. It's not a treadmill with a mask on competition. It's a fight, bro. And we saw that in the fight. Let me read this. Dude, yeah, when Strickland got top control, dude, Hamzat pulled guard, guys. Hamzat pulled guard. Strickland turned Hamzat into a guard puller. And listen, all this, he's the best wrestler. And listen, man, you get clapped, start pulling guard. You know what I mean? Everybody, listen, they turn into panic wrestlers and now they turn into panic guard pullers, okay? They're all the same. Strickland proved that at the highest level. I also feel like Sean Walvin as well. Yeah, Sean hit him with that too. Boom. And then next thing you know, Hamzat was shooting. And the same thing happened. I was talking to somebody about this with McGregor and Nate Diaz. People talk about the fact that Nate choked out Connor, but that wasn't a takedown that was initiated by Nate. That was Nate cracking Connor with the 1-2, Connor shooting on him, getting put in a guillotine, turned over, and then exposing his back. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying the best takedown in MMA is a straight 1-2 down the pipe. All right. So, anyways, Strickland's got a big problem. We got to find somebody for this guy to fight. You guys let me know what you're thinking. If you have not already, get your Real Ones t-shirts. We tried to post it. I got to coordinate better with my peoples. Okay, but anyways, I don't know how to fucking put a hyperlink in the chat. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? I'm going to be on here tomorrow. No telling what time. That's why it's important to bang the bell and have your notifications on so you know what time we're going live. Because it might be any time. It might be early, it might be late. Plus, I'm doing the 10-7 podcast again tomorrow. We did a 10-7 podcast with two different 10-7 podcasts at the same time. So it's 10-7 squared, 10-7-49 maybe, if you're into math, the way I am. But I'm doing that podcast with my teammate and coach at Extreme Couture, Justin James. We're doing that at 1:30 p.m. So make sure you check out the 10-7 podcast, 10-7 MMA. And I called Strickland to win. And the two hosts on there who did not fight or train picked Hamzat. Justin, my teammate, said he's going Strickland because Strickland has a good chance of winning, and Strickland is the underdog, so that's a great bet. I doubled down and I said, not only am I picking Strickland to win, I'm picking Strickland to beat the brakes off this man and bounce his balls off of Khamzat's head when Khamzat tries to shoot. And some people would say that's exactly what happened. Okay, so I'm doing that tomorrow. I'm also going live on here tomorrow. Have your notifications on. And yeah, I love you guys. Have a good night. Peace.